Hi everybody, welcome. We are going to get started for the forecast for the upcoming week. See what's in store for us and what our guides want to tell us. Let's see what we got here. While I'm pulling cards, I hear in my head some guidance to be careful of the promises that you make, especially when you know that you probably don't have time to honor those or keep them. Like this is a good time to be clear with your communication, and if you can't commit to something or you just don't want to for whatever reason, better not to dance around that, I hear. So let's see what our first message is. First, we have the one of a kind message. This time period is a good opportunity, week, month, season for most of us, and what we'll be seeing is a lot of opportunities present themselves. If you you'll know that it's something like a little bit different. Could be a partnership, could be like a special work project or a community project, but just something's going to there's just going to be a lot of synchronicities, a lot of synergy, and you'll notice things, act on them, right? Especially because your own intuitive self will tell you, this is feeling right for me right now. So expect good things to come your way, and act upon them, right? So things will start to feel like they are falling more and more into place. Again, could be meetings with certain people, putting the right people in your path, especially for like career growth, partnership, things like that, or it could be love interests too. But will see that the timing, like especially if you felt like a lot of stuck energy of late, or you felt like it was like one thing after another that like presented a boundary to you, or barriers, better word. It'll feel like that's falling away a little bit, right? And so it'll feel like things are flowing better, right? So better flow. Okay, so we can expect more flow this week, which is great. Our next one is the face you put on. So what are you showing the world? Some of you, I think, reveal only, like many of us, only reveal like snippets of yourself. This may be a time period where you feel you can reveal more. You can be more your true self. You can let other people hear some of your real opinions. And that may surprise some people, other people probably not, but it may feel like this is the time where, and I feel like you're gonna like you pick up on patterns. Like if you usually like either maybe like for some people I hear it's like you downplay your achievements or your accomplishments, or especially if you're around like close friends or family, like you tend to, I don't want to say like you're putting yourself down, but you really just, you don't toot your own horn much. This may be a time where you kind of, you change that a little bit, right? You let the light shine upon you a little bit more, speaking up a little bit more, and for your benefit, and for your healing. And again, this is, and we'll see, we've got the red on this card, signifying the root chakra, and like feeling like really like grounded with ourselves, and feeling like, you know what, this is me now, and I'm good with me now, and I'm not gonna hide that. I'm not gonna sugarcoat. I'm just gonna pull off the mask and be me. So we'll see some of that. That was card number 19 too, if you're following numerology. Next one is coming of age. It looks like the goddess Nike here too, with like the angel wings that she's wearing, right? So again, some people have really like for some people I think almost feel like it's someone like at the cusp of like like the crone period of your life, or at the cusp of like a different time period where you just feel more in your body. You feel more you feel like you're able to express yourself better. You're able to be you better. And it could be at different age ranges, but you really feel like this is me, and it's all coming together. It's all melding together really nicely during this time period. Again, there's a lot of that like flowing element, like the element of like flowing and water, and like things seem to be moving better. And of course, as that's happening, being fluid yourself, like being more flexible, right, will help you with your own healing and with moving further in your relationships and things like that. So it's really a good time period to think about how you can let some stuff go if you can, right? Maybe you've been holding on to some stuff. Maybe you've been collecting stuff in your library that you don't want to. It could be a good time to do a little bit of purging. Okay, now we're going to pull some tarot cards to get some clarification. So here we go. Some of you have perhaps not let yourself, really out there, or you felt like really like, I don't need to, like let everybody know my business, or I don't need to, let myself like have credit for the work I'm doing. Or some people really minimize their work or their effort. And some of that is, we've got the King of Wands first. For some people, it's really rooted in like childhood, or like what you grew up with culturally, or it could be if of your age and like the time period that you were, or it could be like the patriarch. It could be so many things, but like there's a reason why. So they're asking you to stop and think about the reason why did you feel that you needed to do that. And the reason why, because that helps you move forward. We have the Nine of Pentacles here, and it's helping you move forward for your growth as you're planting the seeds, you're moving forward, and you're manifesting all these things. And yes, but what happens sometimes is if we haven't like done a deep dive, the familiar things come back to haunt us. It could be people. Maybe we're seeing them or people repetitively in our dreams, or the same. Maybe we start new projects, new work, and we see the same, boss. You know what I mean? Like it's like a new person, but it's like, oh, you again. Or could be the same thing with like a partnership or something like that. And so doing a little bit of that background work can help you move through some of that, right? Can help you move through some of those karmic cycles that you'll be in. And I think for some people, it's here's the Page of Pentacles. Also thinking about like where you first started to think about these things, especially with abundance, right? Or with like how we view the world and our place in the world and what is important to us. And again, just like we got that, the face we put upon, which is, I told you, like connected to that, the ground, the root chakra, right? Same thing, like that aligns with the pentacles in tarot. Where did I first think about this? And why? And is that still how I feel today with all the growth that I've had, with all the years that I've put on me? Do I still, feel the same way? And that might help you, free you a little bit, is what I hear. Might help free you a little bit. I think we're going to do 2 more cards on this one. And we have the Ace of Swords. This really is a time where there are just going to be some great ideas that you've been working on for a while, though. So it's not like out of the blue. It's like stuff that you thought about, but like, again, everything wasn't falling into place, or there was like some barriers, or could even be physical barriers if you weren't like physically feeling well, maybe with your mental health or with your physical body. But that's going to feel like it's it's moving forward quickly. And again, falling into place. That we have that one of a kind card before. So things melding into place, things flowing, things feeling good. You're feeling like you're more in yourself, able to be the real you. And and still, don't be surprised if some feelings of, this is the Judgment card here, some feelings that arise of like, feeling like people have judged you, are judging you, but less about like and more about how it's impacting you, like how it makes you feel. Why do you care? Why is it important to you? What is this triggering in you? So those kinds of things, it helps you like gently like understand where it's coming from, and then like release it. Right? Release it into like the violet flame. What do I mean by that? Like let it be transmuted into healing energy. Let it go. Envision a flame, envision it a violet flame. And that's where I put stuff. I put like stuff in there that I don't want to like transfer it onto anyone else either. I just want it to like gently dissolve and transform into beautiful, positive white light energy that'll come back to me. Does it make sense? Now, we're going to pull a couple more cards for this coming of age that we had, which was, again, looks like the goddess Nike here, and see what our expanded reading is on that. Some people have really done a lot of like soul searching, a lot of deep work, and your guides are honoring and acknowledging that. They know that you really, here's the Seven of Swords, they know that you've really you've really battled something, you've really done a heavy lift, and you felt like you have done most of this on your own, right? Like you felt either alone, or maybe you were single while you were doing it, or maybe you just usually do like your work projects on your own, but it felt like you were, it was a heavy lift, and that you were, on your own carrying all of this weight. And they say that because they acknowledge that is shaped you into the you that is now. It's something that, why you're so strong, right? Because you have all of that. And there has been, here's the Three of Swords. There's been heartbreak. There's been, there's been stuff in the past that has felt like, wow, this really, like you weren't sure if you could come back from it. But you did. Here is the Page of Wands. But you came back from that, and that has all morphed into this new coming of age for you, this new transcendent you. And again, I think that we'll feel some emotions this week for sure, but again, I don't think it'll be as heavy perhaps as previous weeks. And we have here Five of Swords. So there's still like a lot of thinking and reflection on how you got here, why you got here, but it is going to feel like things are falling more into place, and you can express yourself. You can be you again, peeling away that mask that we were talking about earlier. So all good things to come, it seems. So it seems like a good positive week so far. Now we're going to pull a crystal angel card and see what kind of crystals we get. What kind of guidance we get from our crystal guides, from our archangels. And maybe you resonate with this crystal. Maybe you haven't started with crystals yet. Maybe you're like, they're just rocks. I don't know what she's talking about. But many of us collect the rocks because they got some healing properties, and they just, even if you don't feel the healing properties, they got some beautiful energy attached to them. So we'll use that one that flipped out. Let's see if we got another one here. Okay. So our first one is dolomite, right? Do you have dolomite in your collection, or have you seen it? Looks like such, dolomite. And with dolomite, have you wanted to do something creative or artistic, right? Are you feeling like you have not been able to flow, right? I think for some of us, we felt like we had creative energy contained within us, and like we really needed to let it go, but like things were preventing us from such creativity. Could be our workplaces. Let your inspiration flow and generate your insight into manifest reality. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a nice meal, a pretty garden, an amazing photograph, or some sewing project. Regardless, now is the time to produce it. It will bring you fulfillment and purpose. And again, I think that will naturally easily flow for you. Okay. And then the archangel associated with this dolomite crystal here is Gabriel. I relax my body, mind, and spirit and meditate regularly. Great ideas are constantly flowing into my mind. It is fulfilling to follow through on creative thoughts and manifest my reality. I take enthusiastic action. I am productive. Again, I think this will be a productive time period for us, but not in a way where, like, I don't mean like you're knocking off tons of stuff on your to-do list and like leaving you drained or fatigued. I think like you're going to be able to like let creative projects that you felt like you were like, I feel like sometimes I feel this way. I'm just like, I feel like I should be doing art today. Like, I feel like that's what I need to be doing. I need to be doing like something artistic or crafty today. You may have felt that too, but like you were unable to do it, right? Maybe you had too many tasks that had to be done, or kids or dogs or cats, whatever. But I think, the flow will be on this week. So you'll have an easier time, I think, finding moments to let that out. And then, of course, if you haven't like been able to slow your mind down, definitely considering doing some meditations. If you've been away from your meditation practice for a while, it's never too late to get back on the meditation, right? Practice. Consider just doing 5 minutes or so, or doing a different type perhaps. But yes, definitely remembering the connection between the mind, body, and spirit. Okay, so that is the dolomite crystal, which I don't have dolomite in my collection. So there's a look at the crystal though. Now our next crystal is Damburite. I could be mispronouncing. I don't have Damburite either. Maybe I should be getting these crystals. Are you focused on romance right now? Are you focused on the romance? Decide to create happiness and harmony and see an increase in loyal and caring friends in your life. Decide to accept love in your life. Allow the development of a new romantic relationship or the rekindling of an existing one. And again, I think that goes back to that once one of a kind, right? Once in a lifetime, those cards that we got before, where there'll be fated encounters. It'll just, again, if you had a hard time maybe meeting up with someone that you've been chatting with, they'll be easier to, more time available, easier to get these things connected. So this may happen very naturally, very organically, right? I don't sense like that this is a time where you will like force stuff, or no. I think like you'll have and this will be with ease. Okay, does that make sense? The archangel for this crystal is Archangel Chamuel. And it's I sparkle and shine. I emanate harmony and love. I am grateful for my fantastic significant other, presently known or unknown. I allow love. I have the best friends. So both affirmations on love came forward, which is really interesting. So maybe we will be working more on the relationships in the future, right? And thinking about resting and relaxation, of course, right? And allowing your creativity, definitely your sparkle and your shine. I know for some of us, we have felt like either we haven't had an opportunity to sparkle and shine, or we felt like tired. We felt like, I want to be creative, I want to sparkle, I want to shine, I want to do it all. I'm also really tired. So, or the weather, right? The dreary weather of the winter got to us, and we were like, I don't know. So we will end off the reading. So it looks like we're going to have a good forecast for this week. So that's great. We're going to end off with a affirmation from our Wisdom de Alma, the Goddess Guide. And our first one is, I pause and allow the answer to come. All the mystery, in the mystery, all is revealed. Okay? Some moments have more questions than answers. I surrender to the feminine flow of life and sit in the holy darkness of change. There is magic when I trust Spirit's guidance. I practice patience and dance in the great spiral of the unknown. What a great message. And again, wraps up everything that we were talking about very succinctly, that this will be a great week of like opportunities, chances, flow. I would say also, like get out there if you can, right? If like folks have invited you to do something, could be a good time, to do it. Maybe, again, encounters will be fated. So if you have some kind of cool fated encounter, share in the comments. Let me know. I want to update you on wonderful books that I am reading, and I hope that you are reading wonderful books. Also, I am reading. I wanted to read The Sympathizer, right? Especially because it's AAPI month. Right now, if you're listening to this in May, but my public library doesn't have it on audiobook. How do you not have it on audiobook? It won the Pulitzer. And I have a hard time reading paper books right now because of my neck spine surgery that I had. So I checked it out in paper, but we'll see if I'm able to read the paperback book. So I'm listening to Looking for Smoke. Someone gave it to me as a book recommendation. If it was you, great. Let me know. I'm halfway through and I like it. I frequently, I put a bunch of books on hold through the Hoopla and Libby app from my public library. And, that people give me tons of recommendations and I love it. Like, let them flow. Send them my way. And I don't often read the description of what the book is because I like to be surprised. Unless, of course, obviously some of these books I know what they're about because they won a lot of accolades. But like for this Looking for Smoke, I still don't know what it's about. I'm like midway through and I'm like, okay, I just go with it, but so far it's pretty good. So hope you are reading something also. Do share. If you're new here, do consider hitting the like button and subscribing. I'll see everybody later in the middle of the week. I hope you have a good one.